flipped. They held me back. When I went back to the dressing room, I was pacing, waiting on him to come back.
I was gonna just blast him.
What you just heard was The Undertaker talking about one of the few times he's ever lost his cool in real life. A backstage confrontation with one of wrestling's biggest stars that left him genuinely furious. We'll get to the full story later, but it wasn't the only time that The Undertaker flipped out. And today, we're counting down 5 times when The Undertaker snapped. For real.
I can hear you yelling, stop, stop, stop.
Just straight anger.
Yeah, brother, well, what it was.
The backstage altercations, the locker room meltdowns, and the tour bus confrontations when the Deadman finally lost his patience.
How freaking stupid do you think I am? Now I'm worried that I'm gonna get fired because I'm gonna fight him.
Stick around for this one, because things are about to get wild.
I'm surprised that night I didn't go to jail.
For over 3 decades, The Undertaker has been known as the calm among the chaos in WWE. The dependable locker room general who isn't easily intimidated. But even legends have limits. Our list begins in 2010, and a young upstart who at that time had a reputation for running his mouth. CM Punk was charismatic, confident, and never afraid to speak his mind. But on one overseas tour, it wasn't his promos that drew the wrong kind of heat. It was his look. The clothes didn't exactly scream company man.
So we had an initiative at one point where they wanted the wrestlers, when showing up to travel and dress a little bit nicer, and I just stopped him because he was dressing like Punk did back then, or whatever it was, and they wanted us in business casual.
To The Undertaker, this wasn't style, it was disrespect, and the locker room leader had seen enough. He pulled Punk aside and told him straight, "You should start dressing like a champion."
I was like, hey man, I was like, none of us like having to dress like this. But I said, yeah, I think you're getting a little bit of heat with the boys, and you just might want to think about dressing, a little better. And if I recall correctly, he says, well, what about Cena?
The bus went silent. Undertaker didn't blink. No shouting, no threats, just one line that cut deeper than any promo.
I may have replied, you're not Cena. So, and then, I guess, he wasn't, he thought he should have been the main event, I think, when we worked. And then when he worked with me, I'm not sure if he thought that, he should have went over. But, I mean, you're making the company money. Do your thing. The more money you make the company, the more ways you can dress to certain things that happen for you that don't happen for other people. He posed a question and I answered it, but somehow or another it all got blown out of proportion that, like, Undertaker hates CM Punk, and I was like, I try not to give anybody that kind of power over me to make me have that kind of disdain for them.
The Undertaker handled the situation in a calm and measured way. He was the last person you'd want calling you out. But the run-in with Punk was just a glimpse of what lay beneath the calm. Because long before Pepsi Phil, Taker's patience was pushed to the very limit, and a heated backstage incident that's still talked about to this very day. Survivor Series 1990, Hartford, Connecticut. The lights go dark, the bell tolls. A young Mark Calloway steps through the curtain, silent, cold, and unstoppable. He quickly dispatches of numerous opponents in the ring, hits the tombstone, and heads to the back. Seconds later, all hell breaks loose. Koko B. Ware storms through the curtain, clutching his neck and yelling that the new guy dropped him wrong. The room goes tense. Everyone's watching.
Koko, it felt like that I had planted him a little hard into the mat. He called me out in a hallway and got in my face, or got as close to my face as he could. My day one, right? My day one in the WWE, and I've already got heat with one of the top guys in the company.
Undertaker, eager to impress, immediately apologizes, but Coco keeps going. And that's when the Deadman's button was pushed.
I mean, I apologized and I apologized and I apologized. I couldn't apologize anymore. I said, if you're not going to accept that, maybe we need to go out to the lot. He gave me one more finger in the face and said, no, you just need to be safer. That was a little sidebar to the first tombstone anyone got to see me deliver.
It didn't turn into a fight, but it came close. And for a rookie on his first night at a pay-per-view, it was a warning to everyone else, even then, that The Undertaker wouldn't be disrespected. Years later, The Undertaker's temper would surface again. But this time, it wasn't about being disrespected. It was about making sure the business wasn't. WrestleMania 14, the biggest WWF show for years, and the most volatile locker room in a decade. The company was still reeling from the Montreal screwjob. Crowds were hostile, and Shawn Michaels was pouring gasoline on the fire, clashing with management and testing everyone's patience.
There was a lot of problems going on around that time with Shawn and WrestleMania that year, and that was the year Tyson was there, and a lot of headaches being caused. It was questionable whether Shawn Michaels was going to do the right thing or not.
In the run-up to Mania, there were whispers that he'd refused to drop the title to Stone Cold Steve Austin. And that's when Taker decided to make sure things went the right way.
I don't have my own agenda. I have our business's agenda, because I think there's a lot of times that things can be nipped in the bud in the dressing room at the heat of the moment before it has to get up to the upper office. He could be a real pain in the ass, and if that was going to be the case, then I was going to do what I thought needed to be done.
He pulled Shawn aside. The Phenom sat down and taped up his fists. No theatrics, just straight talking, and a few words that left no room for doubt.
There are certain things that happen backstage that's no one's business. It didn't happen, and thank God. I'll just put it this way: if it hadn't have been done the way it was done, it would have been probably been a very long night for Shawn Michaels.
Shawn lost the match, and Austin became champion. The Deadman had made sure that business stayed intact. But keeping order backstage was one thing, inside the ring was another. Because once upon a time, The Undertaker found himself in a match that stopped being a performance and turned into a real fight. It was a shocking incident that would leave Taker bruised, battered, and furious. The year was 1993. Scandal was everywhere. The WWF was under fire. Vince McMahon was staring down prison time, and life on the road had never been harder. For the wrestlers, it was far from superstardom. Endless towns, double shots, and no days off. In the middle of it all was an up-and-coming Undertaker, and standing across the ring from a man unlike anyone he'd faced before. Enter Giant Gonzalez.
I mean, Giant Gonzalez, brother. Wow. Giant Gonzalez made Khali look like Luthez. It was an early day, 12 o'clock, first ding, ding, ding at 12 o'clock. And I'd had a late night. I was like, I don't care how hard you hit me. Just hit me in the shoulder blades. That's all I ask. Hit me in the shoulder blades, and I will sell for you, and we will do what we came here to do. Ding, ding, ding. Bell rings. Not even 5 seconds. And I'd had a late night. A really late night. Here we go. He pulls me down, and he cracks me right across the back of the neck.
Taker warned him quietly at first, ease up, but the shots kept raining down. Harder and sloppier. Something inside Taker finally snapped.
Once I got the feeling back in my little fingers, because now I'm getting stingers that are shooting down, I flipped.
He dropped the act, he turned, and started swinging for real. The crowd thought it was part of the show. The road agents knew better.
At the time, George Animal Steel was an agent, and I could see him running up the aisle, I could hear he's yelling, stop. I turned around and just started wailing on him. He had no clue. Like, he couldn't even, I hit him so fast, so many times, that he couldn't defend himself. I was pissed.
A few stiff blows later, Gonzalez finally backed off, eyes wide, confused, realizing that the man in front of him wasn't playing games. In shocking scenes backstage, The Undertaker had to be held back.
When I went back to the dressing room, I was just waiting on him to come back. Man, he came back. He was already lumped up. They held me back. Man, I had really lost, and I felt bad then afterwards. He was just he was limited to what he could do, and it was just I'd had enough.
But despite the fury and pandemonium of what happened backstage, not even that came close to what happened 2 years earlier, when Taker got so antagonized he risked his whole career confronting one of wrestling's biggest stars. November 1991. Survivor Series. A 26-year-old Undertaker is about to face Hulk Hogan, at that time the biggest name in sports entertainment. The title was on the line. For the Phenom, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. The match goes exactly as planned. He hits the tombstone clean, the pinfall is made, and after only 1 year of making his debut, the Deadman is crowned world champion.
Boom, pinning, all that, Paul Bear and I are supposed to be in there celebrating however a mortician and an Undertaker celebrate.
Inside the ring, Hogan clutches his neck. It was at that point that Taker knew something was wrong.
When I planted him, all I hear is, you got me, brother. My heart I just hurt Hulk Hogan. I'm so devastated because I take so much pride. My heart is just fallen into my stomach. Like, they give me the ball, I just fumbled the ball.
After being stretchered backstage, Hulk Hogan tells everyone who will listen that Taker dropped him right on his head. The new champion is understandably crushed.
I'm asking everyone backstage, where's Hogan? He's in Vince's office. So, man, I'm tearing back through backstage to Vince's office. I see him, he's laying on the floor, moaning and groaning. EMTs and the medics are getting there. And I'm hearing him moaning and groaning. They're checking him, they're running, checking his pulse and all these different things. And can you feel this? Can you feel that?
Plans for celebrations with his family are put on ice. He feels devastated.
I'm so disappointed in myself. I've got my family. Everybody is in the audience waiting on me. My mom, my dad. I'd flown them from Houston to see me win the world championship. And they're all out, they're like, what in the world? Because it's taken forever and everybody's hungry. And I think I had reservations at this one restaurant. The reservations are gone. End up eating like at a Waffle House or a Denny, someplace, right?
A week passes before the next show. As Taker enters the arena, Shane McMahon pulls him aside.
It was Tuesday in Texas before I actually got to see the replay. By this time, Shane McMahon has come back. He's standing back there with me, and he's looking at me, and he's going, Mark, his head never hit. And I can't hear it. He goes, Mark, I promise you his head never hit.
He plays back the footage in slow motion. As Undertaker stares at the screen, the penny drops. Hulk Hogan's head never touches the mat.
You could have drove a Mack truck between that chair and his head. Man, now, it just went to just straight anger and just, I was so furious and mad, like, because I couldn't process why.
When The Undertaker next bumps into Hogan, tensions are at an all-time high.
I said, Terry, you got a second?
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
So we went back into the shower and I was like, how's your neck? I watched the film back when I got here today.
Oh, yeah, real.
And your head missed by 4 inches.
Yeah, brother. Well, what it was,
Like instantly, like he had it already. You were holding me so tight that when we went down, my neck had nowhere to move. I said, holy shit, you reacted like that? Like, how freaking stupid do you think I am? I held you so tight that your neck didn't have anywhere to go. And I'm at a point like, okay, I was worried that I was going to get fired because I hurt him in a match. Now I'm worried that I'm going to get fired because I'm going to fight him. At this point, I'm still going to cock him, right? I was going to just blast him.
Undertaker admitted he was within a hair's width of getting physical with Hogan. He felt like the Hulkster had jeopardized his career and called his reputation into question by accusing him of being an unsafe worker. Thankfully, on the evening, cooler heads prevailed and the two never came to blows. Over the years, Hulk Hogan stuck to his story that Taker injured him. Writing in his autobiography, he said that Taker screwed up his neck something fierce and it would be years before he got the feeling back in his arms. Undertaker, for his part, dismisses those claims with a dose of dry sarcasm and contempt.
I'm surprised that night I didn't go to jail. I give him the most devastating tombstone I think I've ever given anybody. I mean, it was vicious. Moaning and groaning, gimp limping and all that. Somebody get me a phone. Somebody get my wife on the phone.
Years later, Taker would say that the moment changed him forever. He became wise to the business and promised himself that he would never be taken advantage of again.
It basically told me everything that I needed to know about Hulk Hogan. And I kept it in my back pocket and to this day. I don't know if he was trying to hold me down or whatever his deal was he was trying to angle against Vince. If it was something like that, he should have come to me and said, hey, this is what's going to happen.
Over 3 decades, The Undertaker built his legacy on a calm, studied demeanour. He wasn't the loudest man in the room. He was the one everyone listened to when he finally spoke. But as we've seen here, even the Deadman had moments when the calm cracked. The bus with CM Punk, the debut with Coco Beware, the confrontation with Michaels, and the night he fought back against Giant Gonzalez. But perhaps the biggest betrayal, and the one that still stings 34 years later, involved Hulk Hogan.
Probably should have been the greatest night of my career has now become the absolute worst night of my career. The emotions that I went through and felt just because of the amount that I care for the business, and I'm trying to why on earth would you do something like that to somebody?
For all the bad blood, Undertaker still names Hulk Hogan among the most influential of all time. Proof that he can separate personal history from professional respect. And as someone who spent his life surrounded by smoke and shadows, the rare moments when he truly lost it are the same moments that turned the Deadman human. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, give us a subscribe.
gimp limping and all that.
Somebody get me a phone.
Somebody get my wife on the phone.